For decades, the math of the World Cup was simple: 32 teams, 8 groups, and a reliable procession of football royalty marching into the knockout rounds. But that mathematical safety net has dissolved. The 2026 tournament expands to 48 nations, a move that fractures the traditional path to the final. The physical scale of this operation is unprecedented. Across the United States, Mexico, and Canada, 48 nations will compete in a continent-wide festival. Host venues like Mexico's colossal Estadio Azteca are preparing for a tournament larger than any previous iteration of the sport. This map shows how the new structure alters the competition, shifting from 8 standard groups to 12 distinct mini-arenas. Rather than concentrating heavyweights into a single group of death, this expansion isolates individual giants and surrounds them with 3 highly specialized challengers. By isolating these powerhouses, the draw has effectively laid a tactical minefield. Every historical favorite is now locked in a group with an opponent mathematically positioned to exploit their specific weaknesses. The addition of 16 teams has eliminated the margin for error for elite nations. A single tactical slip against a specialized disruptor forces a tournament favorite into an immediate fight for survival during the opening week. High possession strategies are particularly vulnerable in this new landscape. A team like the Netherlands controls the ball for 63% of the match, but that dominance requires pushing players forward. This leaves open space in the back, space that a surgical counterattacking team will ruthlessly exploit. Japan represents the peak of this disruptor profile. They have established a pattern of neutralizing traditional powers by absorbing pressure and striking the exact moment an opponent loses focus. This timeline shows the speed of those transitions. In Qatar, Japan forced 52 turnovers in the attacking third. Once they win the ball, they take an average of just 5.8 seconds to create a shooting opportunity. That window is so small, most defenses can't reset. France appears to be the exception to this rule, boasting a strike rate of 2.6 goals per match in qualifying. They are the prototypical modern giant, with enough squad depth to field 2 entirely separate starting lineups that could both plausibly reach the knockout stages. Yet in Group I, France faces Norway. During qualifying, the Norwegian squad utilized a high press to force 87 errors from their opponents. Pair that pressure with striker Erling Haaland, who averages nearly a goal every game, and you have a mechanism built to shatter the French buildup. In these specific matchups, monopolizing ball possession is no longer a shield. It provides the opponent with the exact opportunity they need to steal the ball and bypass the entire midfield in under 6 seconds. While some teams use speed to bypass the elite, others are built to drag them into a war of attrition. These nations abandon technical elegance in favor of extreme endurance, structured to outwork and physically break their opponents. The ultimate target for these physical disruptors is the reigning world champion. Argentina arrives carrying the weight of a title defense, heavily reliant on the technical rhythm of their veteran core. This chart compares high-intensity defensive actions, and Austria sits at the extreme end. Their system demands absolute intensity, covering an average of 114 kilometers per match, and logging 18.2 ball recoveries in the final third, suffocating elite playmakers by denying them a moment of stillness. Spain operates with a different kind of technical dominance, averaging over 65% possession. But their underlying data reveals a recurring flaw. They often fail to convert that possession into early goals. That makes Saudi Arabia a dangerous matchup for the Spanish system. Saudi Arabia maintains an exhausting collective intensity of 14.6 sprints per player. They utilize a high-energy press that punishes teams lacking a clinical finishing touch in the opening 30 minutes. Cape Verde adds another layer of chaos to that same group, forcing 89 turnovers in qualifying and routinely transitioning from defense to a shot in under 8 seconds. These are not teams that will sit back and admire Spain's passing networks. Technical brilliance cannot easily solve these matchups. The elite nations will be forced into gritty street fights, where talent is secondary to pure stamina. The final disruptive element of the 48-team bracket is the emergence of wildcards, who operate without the pressure of historical expectations. Curaçao, a nation of just 190,000, qualified by weaponizing fearlessness. They launch counterattacks that cover the length of the pitch in just 6.2 seconds, turning a defensive posture into an offensive threat instantly. Canada utilizes a similar verticality, fueled by elite raw speed. When players like Alphonso Davies win possession, they initiate transitions that turn defense into a scoring chance in under 7 seconds. Thoughtful pause. When an underdog combines 6-second transition speed with zero historical burden, the psychological pressure shifts entirely to the giant expected to win. The data from these groups proves that the traditional hierarchy has flattened. The tactical gap that once separated European and South American royalty from the rest of the world has closed. Because the group stages are now designed as a tactical grinder, the giants who manage to survive will not arrive at the knockout rounds rested. They will arrive bruised and immediately forced into clashes against equally battle-tested rivals. Late in a tournament, physical exhaustion gives way to psychological warfare. Croatia thrives on outlasting opponents through tactical intelligence and an 88% pass completion rate, proving that mental fortitude often outweighs raw ability in the final minutes. This environment creates the possibility of a knockout collision between Messi's Argentina and Ronaldo's Portugal. But in a 48-team bracket, reaching such a match requires these icons to survive the same analytical traps that have already claimed other giants. The 2026 World Cup has dismantled the idea of the safe favorite. To lift the trophy, a team must do more than defeat the best. They must endure the most mathematically perilous tournament in the history of the sport.